the tragic death. When it comes to Jennifer Hudson, her family members, that was so strange. And I remember like it was yesterday. I didn't really completely go cipher all through the detail with that sort of thing. But when it happened, it was just like yesterday. Because I remember Donald Trump, he allowed her to stay at the Trump Towers for a while. That is sad in itself. That's just too much. You just starting to get started in your career. And then all of a sudden something like that happened, right? And then you got to personally identify your own family members as they're laying there dead. That's the worst of the worst. That will be to ask God why time and time again. And it's interesting because people that's outside of the industry will say, well, more than likely she sacrificed her family members to gain success. Tragedy happens all the time, whether you choose to believe in that sort of thing or not. It's been known all type of individuals that go for success, and usually when they do, somebody dies. Never allow that to bypass your eyes. Even for every life that's given, a life is taken away. For a life that's taken away, a life is in fact given. Life and death. Notice that. Some people ain't able to look and search out sequence. Seeing the fine detailed layering of even life itself, the life cycle. Or when a life is given, a life is also taken. Even a career in its own sense, in its own self, marks a new beginning. So for Jennifer Hudson, when people try to say, well, Illuminati, more than likely she sacrificed her family member to join Illuminati organization so that she can have success in the fine print. She signed her life away as well as signed away her family members. Will believe what you choose to. And yet, once again, the sequence is there. As in when a life is given, a life is taken. That's for everything. You can look all across Google. There's in fact clocks for that sort of thing that in fact measures every single day, every single second, every month, week, and all the rest, how many lives are given as well as lives are taken. The measures is there. I watched it with my own two eyes. Clock is meters. It in fact populations, when you look that up, Google populations and all the rest, birth and death. I can literally show you this clock and it will in fact sit there and the timing goes up and down with that sort of thing. I'll do that on a whole different video, possibly, if I don't forget. But yeah, for Jennifer Hudson to start out a career is to say that's a new life for her. But now something else is going to be taken from her. I experienced that my own end when I tried to go for something in relation to industry. My dad, in fact, died right around the time when I said, well, you know what? Matter of fact, I'm going to try out this and see if this sort of thing, in fact, works. It happens to just about everybody, I'm thinking and guessing, and can sense it does. Even if it's not death in a physical form, something else might be, in fact, lost, right? But yeah, so when it comes to Jennifer, what did I say? Jennifer Holiday. I'm sorry. I always say Jennifer Holiday. Jennifer Hudson. Gerardo Rivera. Remember Gerardo Rivera? He in fact on November 3rd, a docu-series was aired titled Murder in the Family, Jennifer Hudson. It aired on November 3rd. And within the docu-series, Jennifer pinpointed signs which showed that the tragic deaths which occurred between her mother, nephew, and brother was, yes, more than likely, highly likely to occur. Let me pause. Did I say this already? Like, subscribe, ID in the Discovery Channel. Yes, ID in the Discovery Channel. The links are provided below. Get that Discovery Go app as well as that ID Go app. You might want to get those two, combine them, make them into one. But yes, Jennifer Hudson, she felt and she pinpointed in the docu-series Gerardo Rivera's with him airing it, that more likely that sort of thing was going to make its way to her family members. because of William Balfour. However, let me just say William because I care not to even know his last name. Seeming he killed him. William is the individual that handled everything and caused a mess with that and the grieving on the end of Jennifer Hudson, right? His behaviors and actions is why she felt all this would have possibly occurred, or something likely close to it would have led up in the way that it did, in the way that he acted. So William is the individual once again responsible for all the lives that were taken. He was known to be very possessive, or what some would call overprotective. Overprotective, right? Sometimes overprotectiveness can go too far. Beatings and all the rest come with that sort of thing, and death, and you see what has happened. So Hudson's sister, Julia Hudson, and William was in fact a ex-con. Jennifer Hudson's sister as well as William eloped. How people go off and get secretly married or in quietness or however you choose to do it. They eloped, which led the newly married couple moving into her parents' home in Inglewood. That's where they moved. As soon as the couple became one in union, conflicts and problems began. The couple separated, which could have manifested more of William having hatred more so for the Hudson family. Them being separated. Jennifer Hudson's sister. Anytime you separate like that, she separated. Him and her separated. And somehow, yeah, that could have in fact caused him to have more hatred towards the family. Not all men. Men are known sometimes to do that sort of things, especially when they're possessive and they can't have complete control over you. That's unresolved, rooted issues. Could point back to mommy or daddy, who knows? Of William, I'm saying, not Jennifer's sister. No. So 2008 on October 24th, Mr. William himself was seen making his way into the Hudson's home. Once inside, gunshots could be heard. And police gained entrance into the home following the gunshots. That is when Julia's mother, brother, and young son were found. When you think about that little boy, you gotta say that is just completely sad. You have no respect for a young child that could have grown up completely bright in the mind to just kill that young little boy off. It's to say I don't even have respect for the man who has did it, the committing of the crime. All three dead bodies, yes, laid lifeless. It's stated William, who killed all three, held a dislike for the Hudson family from the very beginning. He possibly hated their close-knit bond. I feel and sense that he did. Possibly still do today, even in them being gone. Because a person that just hates sometimes even take it to the grave, as in killing people, putting them in the grave, and then still having hatred for the family, despite them being dead, because they can't even deal with themselves. Hating people hate each other. Hating people hate themselves. That makes them hate others. And then try to say it's others. Get what I'm saying? So, former Illinois State Attorney James McKay would agree, because he states such. When I said about more than likely all this, with William killing all three of them and him holding a dislike for the Hudson family from the beginning, a state attorney in Illinois, James McKay, more than likely would agree with that, because he in fact stated in Geraldo's docuseries, in which is mentioned even, yes, the very things of what I just said about how individuals, when they're very possessive and they dislike family members and they try to get rid of people because there's no control. To have a woman and she's too close to her family and you a man and you want to tell her what to do, is to say family is going to be there to prevent that sort of thing. the controlling and possessiveness, and your messed up mindset. That's how men oftentimes kill women and their children and other individuals in the process. Their mom, other children, sometimes bystanders. That's sad. It's a sickness with that. Trust and believe it's a sickness with that. So it seems not only did William possibly have possessive issues, but jealousy issues, just enough to kill her, just enough to remove her out of even Jennifer's life as well. He tried to hurt other people. People that do that stuff, they try to do that because they have hatred as to say, well, I can hurt you, the family, because I already hate you. I can hurt you by killing individuals you're close with. Possibly a woman I am involved with or was or something, right? So William always needed to be the center of Julia's attention. That's possessive. He always needed to be the center of Julia's attention, and he had paranoid issues, thinking she was out flirting with other men when he was away, even if it was just for a short time. Paranoia? I would check into that if I was, investigation, police, all the rest, FBI, right? Checking into the paranoid issues to ask the question if drugs or alcohol was up under that, substances or mental evaluation. That has to play in with that as well. Because even substances such as marijuana, coke, crack, alcohol, drinking too much alcohol, lead people to delusions or hallucinations. That's why you look into that even in investigation to see what the paranoid people that can be too possessive sometimes can be too paranoid. They have a thing of latching on to people and then having fear, thinking it's going to be taken away from them, so they become paranoid and not wanting to lose a person. That will make a person kill somebody too, so that the person can't have anybody else. And yet once they're dead, it's to say, dear William, you can't even have that woman to yourself either. And yet once again, they separated. See what I'm saying? To separate from somebody is to say the love or whatever possibly is no longer there, even the bond maybe between man and woman. So to kill her off is to throw her all the way, by killing her off. And then you ain't got to worry about losing her. And then nobody else can have her. That sort of thing. That paranoia with all that, right? Helps to be wise to say. So he would be paranoid of her flirting with other men, even if she was away from him for a short time, right? This was in fact stated by Michael Benson. Michael Benson, who stated this paranoia and all this with this Michael man. Not with this Michael man, with this William man. Michael Benson, who stated it about William. Michael Benson is in fact a crime writer. Writes about crimes and all the rest, right? So he has to be specific and precise in knowing the detail of even a killer mindset. Back in 2008, on the same day her family members were shot and killed, Jennifer Hudson, she had to identify their bodies one by one. And I stated that in the opening. She had to identify their bodies one by one on the same day the murders took place back in 2008. And she had to do this in helping police. And also, too, within the same time frame, girlfriend of that William. He was with a girlfriend, after the separation and all that, with the Julia killing her and everybody else and the little boy, right? After all that, Jennifer Hudson's mom being taken in death and all that, William's girlfriend confessed to police and told police William was in fact guilty of the murders, which led to his arrest. And it should have. Nobody has time for the petty activity. I'm just saying. So leave a comment in the comment section about that. There's all type of individuals, you or I, the viewer, that have been known individuals that say might have gotten caught up in abusive relationships and all the rest, and possibly may not know known people that were, say, put to death by that, but it can lead up to that. Right? Abuse, whether it's physically or just verbal or just threats, and even possessiveness can be considered abuse, because it's going to go much more further, especially when paranoia thoughts is there. You just don't know, right? Just leave me a comment and state what you feel about even this sort of situation. That's a mess. I remember when I said that already. When I first seen it on the TV, I was like, what? That's hell in itself. So you just now started in your career, and that's how some stuff goes sometimes. You just started in your career, and all of a sudden, you got to wake up and face the day to the fact that your mom, your sister, I mean, come on, but more than anything, your nephew out of all them, and then got to identify their bodies. That's the worst of the worst. So the ID logo rests up in the far left corner. Live now. Ice Code Killer Season 4. Shouts out to Paula. Fatal Vows. Shattered. Each one of these, in fact, contain a description, and they should, because that's for identification purposes as well. So that you know that they're there and what they're about. And that's even retail in itself. Buying and viewers. Selling and viewers, right? Unlocked episodes to gain access, such as an audio, visual. It's a click the play button. Add to watch later. You can click here. The description rests right here. The Last Defense, Season 1, Episode 1. The Case That Haunts Me, Season 1, Episode 1. Unmasked, Season 1, Episode 1. All of these, in fact, yes, I said that description. On last night, to gain access within the padlock right here is to click description, Fatal Vows, Season 6, Episode 12, padlock. You got to provide your provider with that sort of thing. Whatever you're subscribed to with that to gain access. That's the only way you're going to get in. Unlock series. Same thing. ID Go original series. Support to Save the Children's hurricane relief efforts. To do that sort of thing is, in fact, click donate here. And that is, in fact, what you, I was going to say receive. No. Should want to do. Try out towards humanity. Crime feed news. To click within here is, in fact, be directed on the outside to, yes, crime feed. The crime feed. Crimefeed.com. Full of, yes, discovery, news, and all the rest. The crime feed news. Mayhem and destruction with that. Child murders and abductions with that sort of thing. To receive a newsletter is, in fact, type your email address in and click next. And that's to be said for that. So I think that's all for now. I know by now Jennifer more than likely has healed. And yet not all the way, because they say, well, they were the closest things to you, Jennifer. And yet were taken away, but more than anything, that young nephew, that's the worst. Some people will more than likely hate God for, I'm saying hate God for that sort of thing, because they will misunderstand, well, why my nephew like that, right? Yet you shouldn't want to hate God for that. You should just question God for that, right? Because he was up above. Little cutie, right? That's to ask, how much has she even healed? Or if she has healed any. I'm thinking she has to have had something, therapy or something, close talks with somebody about that, because she's not all over the TV screen all cracked out. So somebody must have given a helping hand, various, possibly multiple people with that, and surrounding her. Industry is real, as in fights fall out every day with people, and yet you do have people there that's willing to step up and be there with that sort of thing, giving back to even a Jennifer, despite her being new in her career, because what goes around comes around. to give to a needing heart is to say it's going to be brought back over time. So that's all to be said for now, and I think I'm gone. Drop a dime on the line, you dear viewer. I'm gone.